Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Going to be commentating a game for you today between SaSe and OGS Nada. You can see up here in the upper right we do have SaSe, and in the bottom left we have OGS's Nada. So there you have it. Gonna be looking forward to this series. This is gonna be a best of 3 between these two players, and I am absolutely riveted. I've been absolutely thrilled to bring to you guys best of 3 series. That's I think that's kind of the best way to go about releasing games. I think like about a best of 3 a day is something that's more or less reasonable. I think that's something that I can fit into my time schedule, if you will. So again, yes, we do have SaSe here in the upper right, the Protoss player, and the bottom left, OGS is Nada. Both players fairly well known. Nada probably more known of the two, but either way, both excellent players, very skilled, and yeah, so we're looking forward to this matchup. And I don't know what else to talk about because there's not a whole lot to talk about. Neither player scouting as of yet, but we can see that depot just about finished for Nada right now. And he's going to, of course, be following that up with that barracks. And then I'm almost expecting SaSe to move out with his scout after he drops that gateway. Is he going to do so? Yes, he is. So finally, something going on. We do have SaSe moving out with that first scout. Going to be heading right on over to Nada's base. You see a lot of players also grab those Zelnagas in transit just in case to get that little bit of extra vision. See if you can scout that worker or any sort of anything going on. But no, never mind. So not going to bother going for that Zelnaga in this particular instance, and instead we'll just be heading straight on over, just doing a little loop there around the coral for some reason. Heading straight on over into Nada's base. Look at these guys just moving all around the shrubbery. That's pretty interesting. Nada, no refinery yet, so he will be fast expanding. Yes, he will. Most certainly is going to be going for a fast expand. A couple of bunkers to defend himself. The fact that he's got no gas yet, it pretty much makes that an absolute certainty, because otherwise he would have had a gas already at this point in the game. We can see Nada going to be moving out with the SCV scout and checking SaSe's base, and SaSe does have that Cybernex core about 50% of the way finished. No Zealot anytime soon. We do have that second assimilator coming on in as well. And there's that Expo, much as expected. And I wonder if he's going to get a refinery to start to work up, or if he's just going to continue up this marine production. I would expect him to just keep pumping out marines. That seems like that would be the most logical thing. So there is that second marine right there. The probe is going to be trying to push on him. Won't be able to with that marine there. And actually, Nada's definitely going to want to chill out here as long as possible. We can see right now that first stalker is coming on out right now. And once that is out, that's going to force this SCV out of the base of Nada. And even with that though, he really needs to stay in here. He's got to get a good idea, because he's going for a very, very risky build. And of course, going for this quick expansion. We can see still no gas right now, so I mean, you know, absolutely unbelievable. There we go, 2 more barracks coming out right now. So going to be using these 3 racks early on the game. I expect a refinery to come soon too, so we can start to get some marauders, maybe even just throwing a couple of them in there just to help a little bit against the stalkers that are likely to be coming here for SaSe. We can see SaSe coming out with this this sentry as well, dropping 2 more gateways. Is he going to go for a 4-gate? Or is he going to go for a 3-gate expand? Both, of course, are an option at this point in the game. What is this guy doing? No 4-gate. Okay. So here's that Expo then. I'm going to have to assume that that's going to be the next thing, 3-gate expand. Seems like the next logical step there. We do have this bunker going to be going off at the front here. You may be asking, why is he putting the bunker down here to defend his Expo? He's actually not going to be moving out with this Expo right away, basically. What he's going to be doing is he's going to saturate this a little bit more and then lift it off once he's got a few extra SCVs, and then just transfer some on over. Can see Marines moving on down for Nada, actually trying to shoo away that probe, but it doesn't really matter. SaSe just pushes back with that probe and drops the proxy pylon a little bit further back. So even though he is going for this 3-gate expand, looks like he himself will still be trying to push out with a little bit of early aggression. That warp gate research did just finish, so going to be turning those into warp gates right now, and still going to be trying to push on out. The fact that Nada went for such a fast expansion does still make him a little bit vulnerable, even if it's just to a 3-gate. So here we go, a bunch of stalkers out, and this is actually going to be the most effective thing that he can do. The stalkers are going to be very strong against these early game marines. Don't really expect SaSe to be able to push up into the main with just a 3-gate. We can see right now he is coming out that robo as well. It's going to be some time until that's ready. Don't really expect him to push up with just the 3-gate, but what he can try to do is try to deny this Expo as long as possible. Now this force is actually going to do pretty well. We're going to need another warp in, and there we go. Another warp in did just come in for SaSe, so this will actually probably be enough to at least cause a little bit of a headache here for Nada if he does push out with this. And here we go, push moving forward. Zealot's going to be moving down to try to block off that Expo and going straight up for those Marines. And obviously, if that Zealot does catch up, we'll do very strong. Is he going to get force field off? Does he get it? No, he does not. Would have been absolutely unbelievable if you got a force field from those guys as they tried to move up the ramp, but actually moving in with that Zealot first. Going to be forcing SCVs off the line to try to move down and engage these guys, and this is a little bit dangerous right now for SaSe because those SCVs are going to actually distract his fire and not let him deal with the Marines and Marauders effectively. Here we go, a few more Warpins coming. Actually going to be deciding to do some sentries. Probably going to be seeing some force field action here. If he can force field the ramp, though, this is actually going to be really good. He can stop Nada from dropping this expo for quite some time. And here we go, trying to move down with those sentries. He doesn't get there in time. There we go. 2 force fields going down the ramp. Should have no problem dispatching these forces from Nada here, and then just trying to continue up those force fields as long as possible. He can't do this indefinitely, but he can maintain this force field block for a little while. And you can see right now, Nada's going to be forced to stick back to his one base. So very, very nice play here by SaSe. Taking a look back in his base, we can see our box facility, SCV scout over there, and SaSe does have this expo nice and saturated right now, so very good position. SaSe definitely setting himself up for success. Clearly, Nada is going to be able to try to push out at some point. There aren't enough sentries here. We actually have 4 sentries right now, so just, I believe, 1 more. I think it is 5 sentries. It's either 5 or 6 that's for that infinite force field. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. We do have a factory coming out right now, also trying to get some upgrades, and this is a difficult position for Nada right now, I would have to say. Again, absolutely confined to one base. Yeah, this is just really tough. As long as SaSe pays enough attention, it's going to be very, very difficult for Nada to push out of the base. Here we go, 1 probe going to be shooing away this SCV scout that was from Nada inside of the expansion here of SaSe. SaSe really not going to be committing any more units to this. Again, the whole point, he's not trying to break Nada right now. He's just trying to keep him contained in his base. I've said that way too many times. So 2 gateways right now. We do have an observer coming on through from that robo that just finished. There's that robotics bay, and SaSe still on 2 bases. Obviously has a huge income advantage right now. Clear, distinct advantage, especially in the Vespian, because of the fact that he's got those extra refiners. But here we go, trying to push out right now. Not able to, because again, SaSe is paying way too much attention to actually let Nada leave his base. And I'm going to expect to start seeing some Colossus very soon, obviously, because we do have this bay in play. Thermal Lance hasn't started yet, but once he gets Colossus in play, Nada's going to be in a tough position, especially, again, since he is still just on the 1 base. Nada's going to do what he can, though. I'm expecting, obviously, to see some dropships right there. There we go. So dropships, those medevacs, if you will, coming on out. That's going to allow him to leave his base, stop this force field harassment. Second observer making its way on through as well. There's that first observer going to be checking, seeing pretty much what you would expect. He might have been looking for some sort of tricky tech like Cloak Banshees, but he is seeing those medevacs, obviously clear that those are medevacs that are coming out so that Nada can try to leave his base, and he's obviously seeing this 4 racks right here as well. Taking a look over here for SaSe, still just continuing up this production. You can see still coming out with workers, also coming out with that Twilight Council, so definitely trying to take advantage of this moment in time where he's got a distinct advantage because of the fact that he was able to contain Nada for so long. Now that those medevacs are in play, we are of course seeing SaSe leave because he knows at this point he's not going to be able to contain Nada anymore. So Nada going to be moving on into this expo, dropping it, and finally trying to transfer over some workers and stop this kind of heavily oversaturation that's taking place over here. Expecting that proxy pylon from that harassment, he actually moved and checked, and there it was. So Nada was able to take that out, no problem. Here comes the factory scout from Nada as well. Now, clearly that's going to die, but what he's looking for, of course, is unit composition and any sneaky tech. That's a pylon, but looking for things like the possibility of a Dark Shrine. That is not coming, but if it were, this factory scout would give him a good indication of that. So here we go. Factory scout moving on through. Again, the stalkers and sentries are going to be able to shoot out of the sky, but Nada's just going to continue to push this out until he actually sees any sort of tech, or just try to get as much information as he can. And again, aside from tech, the other big thing is he wants to look at the unit composition. He wants to know, hey, is SaSe Zealot heavy? Does he have a lot of Colossus? Should I be getting Vikings, etc., etc.? You can see a few Vikings coming out because he did see that 1 Colossus. Nice little proxy pylon over here for SaSe as well. We do have 2 observer scouts of SaSe right in the main base here of Nada. 1 over here and then 1 at the expansion. Nada just finally getting up these extra refiners, so going to start to catch up in the gathering field, if you will. He was definitely quite behind for quite some time. Let's take a look at the army tab, see that discrepancy between the 2. We can see SaSe does have that slight advantage overall to 124 as opposed to 109 supply of Nada. And here we go. SaSe going to be coming out with another expo as well. So trying to further add upon his current advantage in terms of army size and economy. And what, did I just get a little lag? What a piece of crap computer. I spent a lot of money. There better be no lag at all, ever. Another barracks coming out right now for Nada. Idle SCV. There we go. Finally being put to work. Now, Nada's got a couple of decisions right now. He can either, try to pump up and work on his very strong army on a 2-base, a really heavy, aggressive push, or he can look to expand himself. I don't think he's scouted this third quite as of yet. No, he is not. So he doesn't quite know about that third. And actually, unfortunately, SaSe did lose his observer that he had over there because the missile turret was able to detect that and got shot right out of the sky. So there you have it. Taking a look over here for SaSe, there is that third expo. He also has, wow, a War Prism coming on through. I believe we did see a Dark Shrine. Yes, we did. So, man, SaSe just running the gambit here. He's got absolutely a little bit of everything. Really awesome. I actually really like that. Finally starting to come out with some upgrades as well. Let's take a look over here for Nada. Nada does have that one weapons upgrade. Vikings chilling in the back. I don't want to join that main army as he does push out here with his Marines, Marauders, and a couple of medevacs. And actually here, a little bit of movement here from SaSe as well. Actually deciding to pull back to his base, not actually going for a full push out. War Prism moving on across the board. And this, of course, is going to be used to do some DT harass. I'm almost guaranteeing that right now. That's going to be the main purpose of that. Marines and Marauders heading on back home. Vikings, that one SCV did spot the fact that this War Prism was moving out, and the Vikings got to come dangerously close to the War Prism. Vikings just a little bit in front. There we go. Spotting the War Prism and managing to take that down very, very quickly. Poor little probe here gets taken care of as well. Does he have concussive shells? He must. There's no way. Yeah, there we go. Wasn't absolutely positive. I'm actually going to be trying to push here on SaSe's third, but I don't think Nada has enough right now. 109 to 109, but still a really nice composition here. Loving those DTs thrown in the mix as well. Trying to catch Nada by surprise, and actually maybe during a big battle, maybe he won't be aware of the fact that those DT are actually in the mix. You can see them a little bit. It's a little bit more difficult in a big battle. You really got to be paying attention. You can also hear them as well. That is, of course, if you're playing with sound. I know some players don't play with sound, but I would imagine as a pro you'd want to because it's a big, big advantage. There's a scan, checking that unit composition, trying to find the exact location of SaSe's army as well. Stimpak going down, and DT rolling up in the front. Going to start to do a lot of damage. We're going to see a scan. Nice force fields going down. Charge Zealots moving up. I'm really liking the spread here from Nada, though. He's spreading out his units very, very nicely. But those DT, he doesn't know that they are there yet. He has not scanned. Those DT are completely going to work here, and Nada losing pretty much everything in that engagement. Very unfortunate. Taking a look right now, we do have 55 supplies opposed to the 31 in terms of army size. So SaSe at a huge advantage right now, going to be pushing out, and I would almost expect a counter push right now because you could definitely do a lot of damage, especially with those DT. I know we do have that one missile turret there, but no, actually deciding to pull on back home right now. Colossus no longer on the board. Those Vikings were more than enough to drop those, but again, those DT just went to work, and again, we saw no scan during that battle, so obviously Nada wasn't aware or just didn't have enough energy to actually go ahead and deal with that threat. Little forward position here from SaSe, still not looking to push at this point though. Doesn't kind of want to push his luck, if you will. SaSe does have that third up and running, starting to get some really nice saturation over there as well. Taking a look over here, looks like SaSe is going to be looking to move into his fourth, grabbing this high yield. A little bit of a difficult situation right now for Nada, given the fact that he's still just on those two bases. You can see trying to come up with his third. And actually, is he going to try to move it to the high yield? Looks like he may. So yes, going for those destructible rocks right now. Looks like SaSe isn't engaging, although I really feel like he could. I definitely think he's got enough, especially with those DT thrown in the mix. Guardian Shield and getting ready to try to engage, at the very least stopping Nada from being able to break down those rocks, making it a little longer before he can actually move in that expansion, although it's not quite finished yet. He's going to have to actually push back out now. We, of course, have this nice observer placement, and this is the entire reason why SaSe realized that Nada was trying to go for those rocks, and here we go, finishing off those rocks. SaSe going to be dropping his fourth right now. SaSe definitely looking to be in a commanding position at this point in the game over Nada. Nada's just very far behind economically and in terms of army size. I mean, SaSe obviously has a distinct advantage right now. Really, at this point, I'm thinking it's just a matter of time. That little proxy pylon going down for SaSe. It looks like he's going to be getting ready to push out and be aggressive. You can see right now sticking with just that gateway heavy army. I don't think he's got any Templar tech at this point. I don't think he actually went for that. High Templar. Obviously, he's got those Dark Templar, but doesn't look like he's going to be going for a High Templar. He's just going to be going just this general mix here, basically Stalker, Zealot. Also, of course, having those DTs in there. We do have this one Immortal here as well. Does he have anything else besides that? Not really. A couple Sentries thrown in the mix, obviously, as well. But not any of that higher tier tech besides those Dark Templar, just sticking to the basic Gateway Army. You don't see that a lot in all honesty. Almost typically you're always going to see High Templar. But there we go, EMP going down. Very nice from Nada, but is it enough? There are so many forces. I think even with that EMP, he doesn't quite have enough to actually deal with this. This is just such a large army here from SaSe. Scan going down, finally realizing that DT were in that mix, dropping that scan to try to take care of it. And you can see just how strong Marauders are against that basic Gateway Army, but still, SaSe has such a strong army size right now, and Nada not even close to being able to deal with this. He just does not have enough forces. There's way too much going on here, and there it is, OGS Nada calling the good game. So we saw in this game, Nada tried to open up with that really fast expansion, but unfortunately for him, a nice 3-gate push from SaSe was pretty much a bit too much for him to handle. SaSe then following up that harassment with some really nice basically wall in action, or what the hell am I talking about? Following up the harassment with some really nice blocking action using his sentries to basically force Nada to stay on the one base, and this allowed him to really safely expand without much of an issue. The entire time Nada was forced on one base, really gave SaSe a huge advantage. He then, of course, decided to capitalize on that advantage and moved out for a third. And really, at that point, Nada was so far behind that it was basically really difficult for him to actually push up and engage. And truth is, this extra expansion, plus the fact that SaSe was ahead to begin with, compounded by the fact that Nada actually didn't really do much harassment or damage at all, really put SaSe in a dominant position. Once that first big engagement did actually take place, although Nada had a proper unit composition to deal with it, he didn't properly handle all of the DT that were in play, and it just absolutely tore through his army. You can see here there was just absolutely no scans that took place, so Nada got pretty much decimated by those DT alone. Obviously, the rest of the army had something to do with it, but the fact that he had no way of dealing with those DT was pretty much what led to his demise. SaSe then capitalizing on his advantage from winning that first battle by getting up a fourth of his own and actually stopping the third placement of Nada. You can see here in this engagement, even with that nice EMP from Nada, SaSe was just in such a dominant position in terms of army size that really Nada had no chance to get up this third, and that was pretty much the end of the game. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this cast. I hope you liked that little recap I did there. That's something that actually my buddy Cricket, another commentator here on YouTube, also does a couple videos here on our channel. It's something that he started doing. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal, so I thought I'd start to incorporate that into my own commentaries. So let me know if you guys like that. And again, full credit goes out for Cricket for that idea, because that's something I definitely did not think of on my own. So anyways, as always, guys, if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Going to be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. And remember, keep watching and keep owning.